Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy. He's still over on the couch there. Joe Boo, well, Joe Bear's ready for the show. But as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up those football gods. Wake up here, guys. Wow. One of you football gods, Drew. Guess what, Drew? You are headed for the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Congratulations, Drew Pearson. I'm hoping we'll be beyond the pandemic. If we are and they open up the Hall of Fame, I want to make sure that I'm there. I've been fortunate enough with the football gods to actually have Randy White's as well as Tony Dorsett's signature on this. I would love to be able to get Drew Pearson's as well. I've got to find a way to make that happen. But anyway, we need to get to our current day Dallas Cowboys. Interesting thing. You know, it's funny because I'm not a professional. I don't work for ESPN or Fox Sports or, I'm not published in Bleacher Report and things like that. I am, like you, I'm Joe the fan. I just spent too much time studying and trying to gather as much information as possible. And it's almost comical to me because I'll see things or people will come back to me and say, did you hear that we can do such and such? Or did you hear that this happened? It's like, yeah, I did a video about that. So this morning, I come down, I'm getting my set all warmed up. I've got 4 television screens in front of me. Excuse me. And I see Marcus Mosher reporting this morning. One quick way the Cowboys could save more than $14 million this season would be to restructure Amari Cooper's contract. I would do that money and to sign a proven D tackle. Okay. It's one of those things that I talked about when people say, we don't have money for Dak Prescott. You know how I've gone through, and I said real easy, add a voidable year to Amari Cooper's contract and convert some of that salary into guaranteed money. Poof. Counting. Simple. That quick. It's nice to be affirmed that what I said is actually somebody else agrees with. And I believe, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I missed it, but I think on my live stream on Friday night with John, I got to double check with John. I believe I had talked to him about Dak Prescott having a second surgery, because what I had said about it was, from what I was told, after they initially went in and put the pins and stuff in there, after it was clear that there was no infection, after it started healing, they went back in and worked on the structure of the ankle itself with some past stuff. And I described like having bone spurs and chips and things like that, where they go through and smooth out the bones and things like that. So that way it's kind of like, it's a squeaky wheel gets the lube. And that's what they did with Dak, and they had said that it would be in better shape. I believe I said that because I think when I said it, I said, I don't know if I should say anything about this or not, because it was told to me by somebody, and I don't want to go through and get anybody in trouble. But I believe I did that. And so yesterday, everybody's coming through. Oh, Dak's injury prone. Dak had a second surgery. Mike Fisher said that Dak Prescott had a second surgery. It's like, yeah, I know. I said they went in and they cleaned out his ankle. Did you see it? I said, no, I don't need to see it. I already knew about that. But it's cool. It's cool. So everybody's coming at me now and saying, you got to get Tom Brady. Dak's not the answer. Dak Prescott won't be the guy. It goes to show you that you don't need a $40 million quarterback. Tom Brady is only getting paid $25 million. And that's great. But the last I checked, there's only been one Tom Brady. And I'm going to go ahead and say this, and a lot of people aren't going to agree with me or not, but if you want to talk about a team winning, that's a team winning. That was a good team last year that just had a quarterback who couldn't succeed. Jameis Winston threw 5,000 yards, 30 TDs, but he threw interceptions, 30 interceptions. Interceptions are like gold. Interceptions, fumbles can be as much as a 14-point swing in a game. When you can get takeaways, just like I pointed out, I've got my chart there, and it literally blows my mind that you've got to have at least 2 of 3 things that are in the top 10 to increase your chances of being able to be a Super Bowl champion. You got to score points, you got to stop scoring points for other teams, and you got to take the football away. If you don't have 2 of those groups in that category, out of the last 20 years, guess what? You ain't winning the Super Bowl. And as we go through this game, I just want to kind of go through the numbers here, because you look at this and say, man, this game was a blowout. And for all intents and purposes, it was. But there wasn't a blowout because Tom Brady just lit up the scoreboard. Tom Brady only threw for 195 yards. Let's look at the numbers here. Seriously. 195 yards is all that he threw for. The difference in the game, and Pat Mahomes only threw for 245. It wasn't a major difference. But the difference in this game was Tampa Bay was able to run the football, control the clock, okay, not turn over the football, and was able to put pressure up the middle, not just on the outside. See, understand, you need pressure up the middle. The Cowboys have always focused on the edge rushers, the D-Law, the DeMarcus Wares, the Taco Charltons. Let's get edge rushers. And they always kind of say, well, we can make an edge rusher into a tackle. No, you can't. You could never mistake Tyrone Crawford for Ndamukong Suh. And see, this is where the real difference is in this game. I want to show you guys on the Buccaneers side. The difference is you got sacks. Well, let me show you where they came from. Ndamukong Suh, 1.5 sacks. Shaq, 1 sack. Cam Gill, 0.5 sack. They got 3 sacks up the middle. Because, see, here's the thing that you got to understand. If you look at when Tom Brady has not won the Super Bowl, all 3 teams had the same thing in common. The 2 Giant team and the Eagle teams. They had great defensive tackles that got into Tom Brady's face. They got him off of the block. He couldn't step up. He didn't have a clear view of the field. And you can see that when a quarterback has somebody coming in his face, they're not the same quarterback. You got pressure on the edge. If you can step up, that's just going to wash right back behind you. And now I've gotten a step or 2 closer to the receiver. I've got a full view of the field. And now I'm a threat to run, which means the linebackers may be stepping up to try and meet me, which means they may be leaving their guys. I've got an easier chance to make a completion. But if I've got somebody who's coming at me, I've got arms flailing. Now I've got to change where I'm throwing that football because there's a hand in my face. I've got to sidearm it. Or I've got somebody now coming down my back. I hear footsteps. I'm not comfortable. Now, to his credit, Pat Mahomes, I don't know how he was getting some of those passes off and across his body with the pressure that was being put on him. But that's what you got to do in a football game. You looked at all phases of the game. All phases of the game. That team clicked. The defense stymied them and got 3 takeaways. And 3 takeaways are gold. It wasn't that Tom Brady and crew got a massive amount of yards that, Tom Brady threw for 600 yards and, in a shootout. Look at this. Kansas City had 350 yards. Tampa Bay had 340. The difference was they were able to run the ball, control the clock, and get the football. And this, my friends, is why I have been pounding the table. I've been screaming from the top of the mountains. I have been begging, I've been pleading for one thing for this team: big defensive tackles. That's all we need. You get those tackles, those defensive tackles that can push up the middle. Your linebacker, I don't know how many times I have to say the same damn thing. Jerry Wayne Jones, please listen to me. Listen to me. Defensive tackles. I know they're not sexy. I know they don't sell jerseys, but defensive tackles are the key. You stop the run. You put pressure on the quarterback. You keep your linebackers free to scrape and be able to fill holes and to make tackles going downhill instead of having to shed a block. Your cornerbacks don't have to hold up for 5, 6, 7 seconds like we've seen Aaron frickin' Rodgers do and kill our chances of going to Super Bowls. If you had pressure on Aaron Rodgers, he's not making miracle throws. And because you're putting pressure on that quarterback, making him get off the block, having to make plays when he's not wanting to, he will turn the ball over and give your offense more chances and latitude. It's not rocket science, but this is the thing that the Dallas Cowboys ignore year after year after year after year. And you can go all the way back to our last Super Bowl teams and look at the defensive tackles we had: the Russell Marylands, the Tony Casillas, the Leon Letts that clogged up the middle. The last time our defense was really good, when we had a Jay Ratcliffe in the middle. You must get defensive tackles. Period. Period. It's the most important spot on this team. It hurts that you can see. It's just like if you've had somebody who is a drug addict or an alcoholic, or or you see them that they're making mistake after mistake, and you can tell them, look, here's what you're doing wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. And you just see them spiraling out of control, and it's just like, dude, here's the problem. You got to change. And they don't change. And herein lies the problem of being a Dallas Cowboy fan. Seeing the same mistakes over and over and over again being repeated. Well, it's the first Monday of the offseason. Everybody is 0-0. Everybody has a fresh start. Everybody is scrambling now to try and make themselves better, to try and get where Tampa Bay is right now. And I'm hoping and praying that the Dallas Cowboys and the organization saw what Ndamukong Suh, a guy who got paid $8 million this year, what a difference maker that guy was for the team. Hope you guys tune in tonight. Live stream, 9 o'clock Eastern. We're going to start going through and figuring out what this Dallas Cowboy team can do. And as Marcus Mouser pointed out, we can get cash just by restructuring some contracts and kicking it down the road a little bit, because salary cap's going to blow up. For those of you who are interested, I know some of you have said, Mark, you put on some weight? Yeah, I put on my football weight. Yeah, I'm a fat ass. Well, my wife says, no, your ass is not fat. You got an old man butt. Your belly, now that's fat. I am starting today to get back on keto and trying to drop about 20 pounds. I will be doing videos on what I'm doing, how it's going, what worked, what didn't work, and things like that. If you're interested in it, I will be doing a playlist of keto, and it'll be like a keto diary about what I ate, what I'm doing, so on. And I would love if anybody else is doing keto, that they have tips or ideas, suggestions, and things like that, that they get with me. I've had a couple of sponsors that have different spices and things they would like for me to try out. So we're going to be trying some of those things as well, to try and see if we can figure out how to get healthier and enjoy the ride as well. I'm Mark Holmes, and as always, I thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. I'll see you soon.